Imagine a world where silence speaks louder than screams, where legends bleed into our everyday reality, and where the line between myth and history blurs. Today, we journey through chilling true crime, cryptid encounters, haunted hotels, ancient rituals, and one unsettling disappearance. Episode 2. Witness the Indifference. We start with the tragic story of Kitty Genovese and the bystander effect that sparked a revolution in emergency response. Discover how public outrage over one woman's murder led to the creation of 911 and forever changed the way we seek help. Deep in the misty woods of Appalachia, the Snarly Yow, the forest lurker, campers whisper of a snarling shape with glowing eyes, will unpack eyewitness accounts. The Willard Hotel. Power, politics, and poltergeists. From Lincoln's White House of the West to a stage for restless spirits, the Willard Hotel has seen presidents, Prohibition-era smuggling, and ghostly appearances. We'll trace its historic milestones and eerie encounters in the grand lobby and secret hallways. The Crescent Hotel, the Queen of the Ozarks. Often called America's most haunted hotel, the Crescent boasts a bloody past of snake oil doctors and tragic patients. Step inside its haunted halls as we reveal the residents, ghosts, and the chilling evidence caught on camera. The Turning of the Bones, dancing with the ancestors. In a remote valley, an annual ritual exhumes, cleans, and retombs the bones of the departed. We explore the roots of this macabre celebration, its spiritual significance, and why it endures despite the chills that it sends down your spine. Our missing moment, Victor Shoemaker Jr. Our finale brings us back to the modern mystery. Who was Victor Shoemaker Jr. and why did he vanish without a trace? We'll sift through the last known sightings, family testimonies, and the haunting question, could someone we know disappear that completely? Hey y'all, how is everyone today? I hope you're all doing amazing. How are you, Amy?
I'm struggling, but here and happy that we are here recording after all the difficulties you had.
It's been like a month of chaos, but you know what? We're good.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Bambi is our tech person, and I am here to be a guide and comedic relief, I guess. I don't know. And so she's been through some stuff with the technology, and I just wanted to say thank you because I can't help you, and I feel terrible because I can't just I don't know why I can't just disapparate to your house. Like, I'm pretty mad that I don't live in Harry Potter world.
It would be great. It would just
and
for
even if I could,
reasons,
I would.
But you know,
I would just be there for moral support when it comes to the tech part of this because I cannot. I can turn the power button on for you.
To be fair, he just had to come do that for me too. So
I'm still deciding if I'm mad or glad over that because he literally walked in and I see his hand just touch something, and then he just kind of
it's literally, it's not even a whole size button. It's a tiny, it's like a pin.
And he touched it with his man hand,
and he went boop. And I was like,
I hate it. But I'm glad you did.
Yeah, you did. Hey, whatever.
Can't live with him, can't kill him. Otherwise, we'd be the subject of someone else's podcast.
That's true. I'm not looking for any of that kind of attention. So, that's too much for me. I have enough stuff happening. Anyway, so aside from all the chaos and the technical issues, so hopefully after this episode, we're trying a new program, by the way. This is not the same program as the last one, and this one was learned 20 minutes ago. So this is all brand new. because the recording part of it I couldn't do until we got together. I made a quick little thing this morning to test it out. I was like, great, my stuff works. But I didn't account for both of our stuff working. So
yeah,
we got it. Anywho, we have a pretty good lineup for everybody today. Are you ready to hop in?
I am ready to hop in.
Awesome. All right. So our first story is it's a history thing, and it's also true crime. But this is the life and legacy of Kitty Genovese. And apparently this hasn't been done a whole lot and talked about. Once I get into it, a lot of people might recognize it. And then toward the end, you'll definitely know what it's about.
So far, I have never heard of it, but that Genovese, what a name. I like that.
I know, I love it. Oh, and she seemed like such a glorious person. So you're going to like it, but it's also very, very, very sad. On March 13th, 1964, in the quiet alleyways of Kew Gardens in New York, a young woman's savage death and the astonishment that followed would rewrite how we see ourselves and each other. Today, we would like the headlines separate myth from reality and explore how a single murder reshaped psychology, emergency response, and the lives of those closest to Kitty Genovese. Kitty Genovese was born Catherine Susan Genovese on July 7th, 1935, in Brooklyn, New York, the eldest of 5 children of Italian-American parents, Rachel and Vincent Genovese. She grew up in Park Slope, attending Prospect Heights High School, where classmates remembered her as self-assured beyond her years with a sunny disposition. After high school, Kitty tried clerical work, but found it unfulfilling. In August 1961, she was arrested for bookmaking, taking horse race bets in a Brooklyn bar, and briefly lost her bartending job. Undeterred.
She was a bookie?
She was a bookie.
Like a chick
and
bookie?
And a bartender.
Is that like a common thing from back? I feel like it's not.
It's probably not. But
this has speakeasy
learn
vibes.
Things with her that she's not all the ladies from back then. Undeterred,
I like her.
She landed a position at Evie's 11th Hour bar in Hollis, Queens, quickly rising to manager while saving to open her own Italian restaurant. In March 1963, Kitty met Mary Ann Zelenko. If I butchered that, I apologize.
I think that is perfect.
I'm pretty sure it's Zelenko. Mary Ann Zelenko at an underground village bar. The two moved in together at 8270 Austin Street in Kew Gardens, known publicly as roommates, but privately as partners, sharing dreams, routines, and a bright red sports car Kitty loved to drive. And it was an early 60s Mustang, which is my favorite Mustang.
That's your jam, isn't it? A 64 and a half?
So, yeah. At approximately 2:30 a.m. on March 13th, 1964, Kitty returned from managing a late shift. As she fumbled with her keys near the rear entrance, Winston Mosley emerged from the shadows and stabbed her. Kitty screamed echoes through the courtyard. A neighbor, Robert Moser, shouted, "Let that girl alone," and the attacker fled. Kitty, gravely wounded, crawled toward the back door. 10 minutes later, Mosley returned, stabbed her again, raped her, and stole her money. Neighbors finally realized something was happening when Sophia Farrar found Kitty collapsing in the hallway and screaming for help. Police arrived minutes after the final attack, but Kitty died en route to the hospital. So, attacked twice within 10 minutes.
Yeah. By the same fella.
By the same guy. The thing, I'll post pictures in our Facebook to show you the landscape and what this place looks like. There's a lot of controversy with it and the amount of people that would have seen this happen. But again, it was also 2:30 in the morning. Yeah.
At 2:30 in the morning, and they're saying a lot of people would have seen it?
38.
Oh, what if nothing good happens after 10 p.m. Why are people out at 2:30 a.m.?
It's the way that the apartments are. And I watched a documentary today that I had not found until today. And finally, I got to see how all of the buildings are set up. And people on almost at the top floor of this building heard her scream. So Mosley was arrested 6 days later during an unrelated burglary. In custody, he confessed to killing Kitty and 2 prior sexual assaults. He was convicted of first-degree murder, robbery, and attempted kidnapping, and sentenced to death in June of 1964. A sentence later commuted to life imprisonment. He died in prison in 2016 after 52 years behind bars. 2 weeks after the murder, the New York Times ran a front-page article titled, it says 37 in this one, but it was actually 38. There was a lot of back and forth with how many people actually saw it, and it's also very, very disputed as to how many people actually saw it and how many people claimed to. But I mean, if you saw something like that happen and did nothing, I don't think I would admit to seeing anything myself.
No, I don't think I'd try to reach glory and fame.
And at the time,
doing nothing.
They had, remember the call boxes that they would have on the street?
Yeah.
They had those at the time. And then, of course, people had their phones in their homes. So if anybody had any of these apartments would have been able to call the cops. So
wait, when you're saying call boxes, you mean like a telephone booth?
Well, no, they were on like the phone poles, and it was just saying that
like the police call boxes, like
yes,
okay,
right.
They have on campus.
They had those. Oh, yes.
Okay.
So 2 weeks after the murder, the New York Times ran a front page article titled 38 Who Saw a Murder Didn't Call the Police, claiming dozens of witnesses who heard or saw the attack did absolutely nothing. This narrative of urban apathy sparked outrage and gave birth to a cornerstone of social psychology called the bystander effect.
Yeah.
Psychologists Bibb Latane and John Darley coined the term to describe how the presence of others diffuses personal responsibility, making people less likely to intervene in emergencies. Kitty's case became a textbook example, often misremembered as the Genovese syndrome.
That's like whenever I say that I need an adultier adult.
Right. Yeah.
Because I can't make this decision. Someone else do it for me.
Exactly. Well, and then you get into, like, if you think about, like, nowadays, especially with as crazy as everything is right now, with people getting shot and doing god-awful things, most people nowadays, I think it's better now than it was, but still, most people nowadays, if they see something like that happen, they're terrified. So they're not going to run and call police. You know what I mean?
They don't want to get injured themselves.
So
they're not going to run in and help.
Situation.
And they don't want to get involved, so they don't call police.
Right. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching the documentary today, that's a lot of what happened. But someone actually came to the top of the stairs when she was essentially dying, as she was at the bottom of the stairs when we came back. And someone came to the top of the stairs, and the man apparently went back to his apartment and called his girlfriend, and she said, "Don't get involved." But it changed everything. In the decades that followed, researchers uncovered flaws in the original reporting. There were far fewer active witnesses, and many who heard Kitty scream did call authorities or attempt to help. In 2016, the New York Times publicly acknowledged its report as grossly exaggerated witness inaction. Like I said, they reported that there were 37 or 38 people who witnessed this whole thing, but it wasn't reported. And it's probably anywhere near that. It's because it was reported. It was in the news. And of course, they have to sensationalize it a little bit.
Of course.
There were still more witnesses that needed to not be witnesses without calling anybody, though. Before Kitty's death, if you needed police help in New York, you had to look up your local precinct's number. The confusion and delay highlighted by Kitty's case prompted lawmakers and civic leaders to pursue a universal emergency number. So in 1967, the President's Commission on Law Enforcement recommended a single-digit, easy-to-remember number. By February 1968, 911 was rolled out nationally, ensuring a direct line to dispatchers equipped to send police, fire, and medical aid. No precincts to look up, and no misdialed area codes. Today, 911 fields over 240 million calls annually. Its creation stands as one of the most tangible legacies of Kitty's murder, a system designed to break through bystander hesitation and get help on the line faster than ever before. Katie's family, shocked, grieving, and bewildered by the sensational headlines, endured months of intrusive questioning and media scrutiny. Her partner, Marianne, was treated as a suspect during early investigations, facing inappropriate and invasive interrogations that focused more on their relationship than the crime itself.
So she was a subject because of the nature of their relationship, and that was not okay?
Right. You gotta remember it's the 60s.
Seems likely.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, God forbid, they had how many witnesses?
Right.
That would not have seen her there because she was in the apartment. And their apartment, as far as I could figure out on the documentary, was on the back side of the building. She would not have heard the scream or any of this happening.
Did any of the 37 or 38 people say they thought it was a woman?
There were people looking out the windows and saw.
Right.
These
and they saw it happen.
And the man
so they knew it was a man.
And everything, yes.
And they tried to blame it on a woman.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you're going to accuse 38 people of seeing things and not actually reporting them, you would think that they would get that part of it at least. But no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they thought she set it up. Okay.
And it was also a black man that did this.
Oh.
And neither of them were. So how they got probably a smaller female white woman out of a probably not small black male, I'm not real certain.
I'm so confused.
Right? I think that it, like they said, it was more focused on their relationship than it was the crime because it was the 60s. Over the years, Kitty's siblings and Mary Ann struggled with the dual burden of personal loss and public mythologizing. In 2015's documentary, The Witness, Kitty's brother, Bill Genovese, retraced the steps of the case, uncovering corrections to the record and humanizing the sister he lost at 28. That's the one that I watched this morning. Kitty's name remains synonymous with both cautionary tragedy and societal progress. Her story reminds us how fear and misunderstanding can paralyze, and how reform in psychology, media, ethics, and public safety can rise from our greatest failures. On that cold March night, Kitty Genovese walked a few dozen feet from life into death. The world watched, then learned to listen and act. May the lessons of bystander effect and emergency reform honor her memory and remind us that the first question we should always be, what can I do to help? So I have some more on that since Kitty's murder is what prompted the 911. So I'm going to actually kind of give like a breakdown of how that even came to be.
Okay.
So the first official 911 call was on February 16th, 1968. Rank and Fite, Speaker of the Alabama House of Representatives, dialed 911 from the City Hall in Haleyville, Alabama, and that was the first ceremonial call. The call connected to U.S. Representative Tom Beeville and the local police station. This event was staged to mark the launch of the 911 system and was not a response to an actual emergency. But the first unplanned emergency call was just 30 minutes after the ceremonial call. The first unplanned real emergency came into Haleyville 911 Center. A man called to report that his daughter had locked herself in the family car, and responders dispatched a police officer who arrived on the scene and safely retrieved the child. And how these shows, I know, and it's wild that it was called into the same place that the ceremonial call was, and it was literally 30 minutes after the ceremonial call, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So why was this held in Haleyville? AT&T and the FCC chose 911 for its simplicity, and because those digits weren't yet in use as an area code. Alabama Telephone Company volunteered Haleyville as a test location. So the ceremony underscored cooperation between federal regulators, the phone monopoly, which was AT&T, and state and local officials. AT&T was like the beginning, I guess. They owned all the phone things. The spread of 911 in the United States and beyond. In 1972, Canada adopted 911, first Canadian call in London, Ontario. 1973, White House endorses 911 in a public statement. 1987, half of the U.S. population covered by 911 service. And today, over 98% of the U.S. and Canadian residents can reach emergency services by dialing 911. And that's how we have the 911 we know today. The part that kind of baffles me is that over 98% of the U.S. and Canada can reach them, but why is it only 98%?
What's
It's not
the
100%. It's not 100%. So now I want to dive into that at some point, and I will, because that baffled me. Because in 1987, half of the U.S. population was covered by it. And this far in, only 98% is covered in the United States and Canada. Maybe part of that's Canada.
Maybe?
Perhaps.
Okay. 98% of U.S. and Canadian residents. Is it? I mean, why do I feel like it's the other 2% is the backwoods of West Virginia?
I mean, to be fair,
sometimes the phone lines are laying across the road and wrapped around trees. But yeah, I will die if you come back and are like, it really is in West Virginia. I mean, it won't die literally, but
it's in Lincoln County. Shout out to my people.
What a shout out. They can't hear you. They ain't got 911 either.
Hey, listen, I never once had internet in Lincoln County. I didn't move out of there until 2006. I didn't have internet there still in 2006. So there's that.
I mean, there is a fly. Absolutely.
I know. I've been watching you, and it's kind of calm to me.
Okay. I'm going to kill it. So I am going to tell you all a black dog story. Do you know about black dogs?
Yes.
So like for us, we're probably going to revert it back to drivers seeing a black dog.
Yeah.
For the falling asleep or whatever.
Right.
Okay. So this is called the Snarly Yow. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm saying that right. I think it's Snarly Yow, like cow. It's spelled
I've always said yow.
The Snarly Yow is described as a phantom-like dog with dark blue-black fur. Some accounts have mentioned gray or white fur. It has sagging skin and snarling red lips or flews, giving it an almost corpse-like appearance. Its eyes are red or glowing and reflect light eerily. This cryptid can walk on two legs, though it usually moves on all fours like a dog and can vanish into thin air. The name Snarly Yow is thought to have derived from the guttural snarling sound it makes, with yow possibly mimicking a startled yelp. The origins of the Snarly Yow date back to 18th century German immigrants who settled in western Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia, bringing with them their folklore, including tales of spectral hounds and supernatural omens. This eerie cryptid is said to haunt the Blue Ridge Mountains, especially around Harper's Ferry and South Mountain, and has been spotted in parts of Maryland and Virginia. Over time, the legend became entwined with Civil War ghost stories due to it appearing as a spectral sentinel in battle-scarred places like Turner's Gap. The Snarly Yow has left a trail of eerie encounters across Appalachia, and some of the most vivid sightings span centuries. Here are a few that stand out. In Turner's Gap, Maryland, during the Civil War era, a huntsman known for his sharpshooting encountered the Snarly Yow on South Mountain. He fired multiple times, but each bullet passed through the beast without harm. Overcome with dread, he fled the scene. This story is so iconic that a historical marker near Boonesboro warns, "Beware of the Snarly Yow." And then in Boonesboro, Maryland, in the 1880s, a man returning home at night encountered a massive black dog blocking his path. He threw rocks and swung a stick, but they passed through the creature. A man returning home at night encountered a massive black dog blocking his path. He threw rocks and swung a stick, but they passed through the creature. The beast grew in size, bared its teeth, and lunged, causing pain without leaving a mark. In Frederick County, Maryland, in 1976, that's fairly recent if you're thinking about it, a couple reported hitting a bluish-black dog with glowing eyes, and when they got out to check, the creature vanished. Other motorists in the area described similar encounters, phantom impacts followed by sightings of the dog behind them. In Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, in the late 1970s, residents reported seeing the Snarly Yow in their yards. No thanks, absolutely not. Objects thrown at it passed through its body, and it would snarl before vanishing. In 1975, a school bus load of children returning from a field trip reportedly hit a large black dog. The driver stopped, but when they checked, the creature was standing unharmed in the road, baring its teeth before disappearing. And some modern encounters are some hikers and horseback riders across the Shenandoah Valley and Blue Ridge Mountains continue to report sightings of a ghost dog that causes fear and confusion but never attacks. The Snarly Yow can be read about in modern cryptozoology books, such as United States of Cryptids by J.W. Oker, alongside other lesser-known legends like this phantom hound. There's also a growing presence in regional museums and exhibits such as the American Snallygaster Museum, which includes the Snarly Yow in its rotating folklore displays alongside other Maryland legends. If you or anyone you know have encountered Snarly Yow or any other Appalachian cryptid, please share your story with us via our email, Macabre.Musings.Podcast@gmail.com, with cryptid encounter, Snarly Yow in the subject line, or any other cryptid you may have encountered.
Yeah.
Would be also great for stories.
Definitely like to hear other people who have had any kind of experiences with them, because I've known people who claim to have had some kind of encounters. You think?
With Bigfoot?
Yes.
I have a picture that one of Shelley's boys sent me.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty obvious.
Really? That's pretty cool. I don't have any, which is unfortunate.
I have it myself. There was a fake one.
I have seen UFOs.
I was like, oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
UFOs.
Well, now everybody has learned that they're real, and
right.
we're all like, no kidding. So now we don't blink about it, but I do still like to hear the stories and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I love a good UFO encounter story.
All right, for our next one, I've got actually two kind of just back to back because they're both smaller. They are both historic and haunted subjects. And a friend of mine actually visited the Grafton area in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she had visited and everything. And of course, I was like, oh, I had actually planned on covering something with the Willard Hotel. There's not a lot of like documented haunting stuff. I had told her that I was going to do that. Dana, I will shout you out. So the first one's going to be the Willard Hotel, which is in Grafton, West Virginia. The historical background is the Willard Hotel first opened its doors in 1912, serving as a luxurious stop for travelers arriving on the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. Constructed in 1911, it boasts Beaux Arts architectural details. That was hard to say. It was a lot.
I have not heard of that specific type of art. It's like gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it hosted silent film star Mabel Normand during the filming of Back to the Woods at nearby Valley Falls State Park.
I feel like I should know what that is, but I don't.
I know the name, like I've heard the name, but I could not tell you.
Can't draw up a face with it.
We'll have to look that up too. Maybe post pictures. Financial struggles forced its public closure in 1926, though portions remained in use by the railroad until a coffee shop on the ground floor shuttered in 1980. Since then, the once elegant structure has sat completely empty, its ornate facade giving way to crumbling walls and overgrown vegetation. Haunting legends and reported phenomena, according to local lore, the abandoned Willard Hotel is far more than a decaying relic visitors and urban explorers speak of. Faint whispers echoing through the deserted hallways, unexplained footsteps pacing the upper floors, sudden drops in temperature, even on warm days, shadows flickering at the edges of one's vision, occasional sightings of a pale figure peering from broken windows. Though no formal investigations have produced variable evidence, these accounts have cemented the Willards' reputation as one of West Virginia's eeriest haunted sites, which is odd because you really don't hear anything about it.
No, not a lot. I'm wondering when it says peering from broken windows, is it like a fully broke out window? Because like if it's a window and it still has a glass in it, a lot of times people will be like, oh, you're seeing a reflection, or
that's what I was
so
say.
Like, now I want to see the broken windows.
There's not a whole lot left, which I'll there's pictures. I've got all kinds of pictures of it in like its early days and what it looks like now.
Okay.
And what's wild is like the amount of things that people have experienced, but there's like no actual documented proof, which kind of sucks. But preservation efforts and future prospects, the Vandalia Heritage Foundation acquired the Willard Hotel alongside the neighboring B&O Railroad Station. While the station has seen facade restoration and interior renovations, the hotel remains mothballed, awaiting redevelopment plans. So they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Sadly, because it was beautiful.
I saw the picture that you posted on the sneak peeks. And I was like, wow, that's really, I'd like to go.
As an eligible historic property, developers could leverage tax credits to convert it into a boutique lodging or residential space, potentially breathing new life into both its walls and its stories they hold. Whether you're chasing chills or preserving history, the Willard Hotel stands at the crossroads of legend and renewal. There isn't much, like I said, if any, haunting stories on that one, but it's said that people do have experiences there. Nothing's documented, fortunately.
Why isn't somebody documenting that?
I know, but I think a lot of it is like a lot of those haunted things. If somebody who isn't on TV doesn't go and ghost hunt it, you know what I mean? Because those are the ones that kind of become a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost hunters, if they didn't do it, or ghost adventures, or one of the other ones, if they don't check it out themselves and analyze it and all that, it's considered, I guess, lore at that point if it's not on television, which is kind of goofy because I personally would rather hear people's personal experiences about things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't believe them. So that one's for the Willard Hotel. And then my next one is the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. This one's a lot more known. This one has been checked and there's lots of experiences documented there. Crescent Hotel is a historic hotel at 75 Prospect Avenue in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It is billed as America's most haunted hotel and offers a ghost tour for a fee. The 1886 Crescent Hotel and Spa is a member of Historic Hotels of America, which is the official program of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. The Crescent Hotel was built in 1886 to a design by Isaac S. Taylor as a resort for the rich and famous, but quickly became unmanageable and fell into disrepair. In 1908, it was reopened as the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women. This institution closed down in 1924 and then reopened again in 1930 as a junior college. After the junior college closed in 1934, so that was only 4 years for that one.
Jeez.
Yeah. The Crescent was leased as a summer hotel. So in 1937, it got a new owner, Norman G. Baker, who turned the place into a hospital and health resort. I don't know what you would explain that as exactly, as a health resort.
I think we call those rehab facilities.
That's what I was going to say, like a rehab or even an institution-ish.
I'm sure that it was probably not a great place to be, given how they treated things back then.
It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It definitely wasn't any type of resort. But,
no.
Well, explain some stuff. Yeah. Baker, a millionaire, inventor, and radio personality, styled himself as a doctor despite having no medical training. This is actually really horrible. He claimed to have discovered a number of cures for various ailments, including cancer, and launched frequent attacks on organized medicine, which he accused of being corrupt and profit-driven. To be fair,
I may not be wrong.
He's not incorrect, even in this day and age, but not really something you should do is go around saying that you're a doctor when you have literally no medical training whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there's that. Having been run out of Iowa for practicing medicine without a license, Baker moved his cancer patients to Arkansas and advertised his new health resort at the Crescent. His cure consisted primarily of drinking the area's natural spring water. In 1940, federal charges were filed against Baker for mail fraud, and he spent 4 years in prison. The Crescent Hotel. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I just coincidentally am also listening to a podcast who has been talking about Linda Hazard. Do you know who that is? Starvation Heights.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, her cure-all for everything was to starve everybody to death.
Right.
And she also posed as a doctor and was not.
Yeah.
So when he's saying his cure was primarily drinking the area's natural spring water, Are they also allowed to eat food? Is this another starvation thing? I have questions.
I don't know.
They just adding it to their diet?
That's probably. Well, I don't know. It said consists primarily of drinking the area's natural springs.
Oh, it does say primarily, huh?
It does say primarily, though. The Crescent Hotel was left ownerless until 1946. In the spring of 1946, the Crescent Hotel was purchased by John R. Constantine, Herbert E. Shutter, Herbert Byfield, and Dwayne Nichols. On March 15th, 1967, the hotel was nearly burned to the ground. The only living owner at this time is Dwight Nichols.
So is this place built on cursed land?
That's part of the mystery of it.
Part of its lore?
It is, yes.
Okay.
In 1997, Marty and Elise Ronick purchased the Crescent Hotel for $1.3 million. They oversaw it's nearly burned to the ground.
For a shell of that must have been one heck of a piece of property.
Correct. They oversaw a 6-year restoration and renovation of the hotel rooms. Marty died in a car crash in 2009, and Elise remains the hotel's current owner to this day.
Really?
Yeah. The building was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2016. In 2005, the hotel was featured on the television show Ghost Hunters, where the cast claimed, me too, I've still watched even the reruns all the time, where the cast claimed to see what they described as a full-body apparition on their thermal imaging camera. And I can remember this episode, like, I've seen it several times, and it's probably one of the best evidence shows that I've ever saw on there. I had to find that one. It's really
I'll have to go back and watch that. I'm sure I watched it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just don't remember.
Yeah, there are tons of firsthand accounts from this hotel, including the regulars I will get to in a sec. I'll post some of those in the show notes to go along with all that too. I have tons of pictures and evidence stuff also saved up. So the paranormal legends and resident spirits, the guests and staff reports encounters with multiple entities who check in but never left. Yeah. Key figures include Michael, who is often seen peering from behind curtains in the grand lobby. Theodora, which, by the way, I love that name.
That is fabulous.
I've never thought of that name as a name that I would like, but I love it. She is a childlike spirit, heard giggling by the indoor swimming pool.
Well, I don't like the giggling.
No. I love me some ghosts. I talk to them. I love them. They are my friends. I have a problem with children because it wigs me out.
I love a checked in but never left, but I can't deal with the ghost kid.
If I hear a giggle, I'm done.
Absolutely not.
All. Nope.
No.
So the ghost in the morgue, because there was a morgue on site.
Well,
unseen presence triggering flickering lights and sudden cold spots in Baker's former morgue area. Additional.
I'm sorry. There's a morgue in the hotel.
There's a morgue on the grounds. From
my brain's trying to wrap.
Well, you got to remember, Baker's big cure was to drink water for cancer. So, obviously that did not work. So,
that makes much more sense now. Thank you.
He did he did other things also, ridiculous cures for other things as well. But that was his biggest. Additional phenomena encompass disembodied footsteps in empty hallways, doors opening on their own, and unexplained voices captured on EVP recorders during ghost tours. Which they do,
unless they're saying something nice,
right? They don't. Generally speaking, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of get outs or help us in that.
I can't deal with a help us because I want to help you, but I also
think get out.
Get sucked in.
Be like, no, I will when I'm done. You know what I mean? But like, a help us. I'm like, what do you do for that? I can't help you.
How can I help you?
You're not here.
Go into the light.
Can't do a thing for you.
I got nothing.
Unfortunately. They do have ghost tours and experiences with levels of ghost hunting. The Crescent offers a range of guided activities for thrill seekers. One would be the Crescent Ghost Tour, which is a 1-hour evening walk led by local historians through the hotel's most haunted nooks. 2, They have a midnight investigation, which is a small group hands-on paranormal hunt in the morgue and former boiler room, complete with EVP kits and spirit boxes. 3 is an expert and expanded tour, an in-depth exploration featuring stories from senior paranormal investigators about the hotel's darkest chapters. Whether you seek whispered legends in historic hallways or hands-on ghost hunting, the Crescent Hotel stands as Arkansas's landmark of the paranormal, awaiting anyone brave enough to spend the night among the resident spirits. So if you ever find yourself in Eureka Springs, which isn't that far from me,
Really?
we have a couple of friends of ours that go up there. If anyone's ever near Eureka Springs,
Up, down, over, or near,
you can stop on in there. If you have any experiences there, you're welcome to email us or post any comments on our Facebook and our show notes.
Absolutely, please do that.
We want, especially if you have pictures or anything of ghost hunts, and it's one of our topics, definitely.
Yes.
Like when I put up show notes, you are more than welcome to post your own, because if it goes along with that, that would be great. We would love that.
So when you were talking about the ghost tours and experiences, I was getting Tala vibes. And for those of you who do not know what Tala is, it's Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Yes.
Because when you read that first one, the, what is it? The 1 hour walking tour. I thought of whenever we went up there, and I was like, I've never been here. Let's take a tour. And we just got the bottom floor tour, which was cool, but nothing happened.
I lived right across from
beside it.
And I used to eat lunch on the lawn, and I own a piece of it. I actually gave a piece of it to my friend Brittany down here. Shout out to Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
I gave her a small piece of my little sodding brick piece that I got from there. So she also owns a haunted piece of brick. But so yeah, I have that, and I have tons of pictures from my various times of being over there.
So my missing persons case this episode is going to be about Victor Dwight Shoemaker Jr., who was known as JR. And this is a bit of a sad case. I mean, they all are a sad case. This one is just a young child, and I think that tends to break our hearts a little bit more. Victor Dwight Shoemaker Jr., known as JR, was born on Thursday, March 30th, 1989, to Victor Sr. and Nettie Shoemaker. The couple had tried for years to conceive before having JR. He was their only child and the center of their world. JR was described as sharp and clever, with a good sense of direction and a knack for mimicking accents. He spent his days playing video games, drawing animals and snowmen, and building cardboard houses. On Saturday, April 30th, 1994, the Shoemaker family traveled from their home in Leesburg, Virginia, to visit Oscar Wolford, Nettie's father, in Kirby, West Virginia, for a family gathering. They spent that night at Oscar's mobile home, which was near Short Mountain Wildlife Management Area. Have you ever heard of that place or been there?
I had not, other than in this case, because I've read some on this case, but other than that, I don't know where that is exactly.
I just Google mapped to see what that area looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge...
Is it thick?
It looks like it is. I mean, of course, I can just see the aerial view because I can't zoom in on any of the roads because Google Map cars don't go there, I guess. But
anytime I've seen anything on this case or read anything, I picture it as pretty heavy, thick, dense.
Yeah,
woods.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. I want to say it was it 8,000 acres? Don't quote me on that, y'all. It might be the wrong number. But I read that somewhere, and I don't know why I didn't put that in my notes, but I should have. Around 8 a.m. the following morning, which was Sunday, May 1st, dressed in red Bugs Bunny t-shirt, red shorts, and white X-Men tennis shoes, JR went outside with his older cousins, Lloyd Wolford, who was 8, and Tommy Martin, who was 9. Nettie, who was outside at the time, saw the boys head into the familiar woods, out of sight. Shortly after their journey into the woods, JR told his cousins he was hungry and headed back to his grandfather's home alone. Lloyd and Tommy continued briefly and then returned home around 8:30 a.m. without JR. Nettie, who was still outside when Lloyd and Tommy emerged from the woods without her son, immediately sensed something was wrong. She reportedly asked them multiple times, "Where's JR?" But they avoided eye contact and gave vague answers, saying he was still in the woods. Nettie and Victor Sr. began searching the woods based on the boys' initial and incorrect account of where they had last seen JR. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
They spent about an hour searching alone before alerting authorities. Now, this is going to go back just a little bit about what you talked about with 911. Okay, and remember, this is 1994, and this was just coincidence that this happened with our cases, but
together.
Yeah. Typical for rural West Virginia in 1994, especially in areas like Kirby, where cell phone service and centralized dispatch were limited, the Shoemaker family did not call 911. According to reports, the initial alert was transmitted through local emergency channels via a radio dispatcher, so probably a CB, I guess, who contacted McKee Funeral Home in Augusta, which had a pager system for emergency notifications.
Wow.
That pager triggered a response from in 1994. I know. I was like, am I reading this right? And I looked at that several different times and read some.
I don't know any of this stuff either. I've watched tons about the case, read tons, but I've never heard any of this stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting how it all went. And I was like, I've got to add that in there. And then there you went and talked about first time 911 was used.
Full circle.
Yeah. So that pager triggered a response from Robert Walker, chief of Volunteer Fire Company 3 based in Augusta, who then drove to the scene and began coordinating the search. The West Virginia State Police were also involved early on and months later partnered with the FBI when foul play became a possibility, and we'll visit that again. Let's go back to when Lloyd and Tommy returned without JR and try to clear some things up because the truth wasn't told until several days later.
Right. Yeah.
So initially,
that's a big part of that problem. The story just wasn't.
Yeah. So initially, Tommy and Lloyd told Nettie and Victor Sr. that JR had simply wandered off into the woods. They pointed to a general area where they claimed they'd last seen him, but it was not the actual location. The family searched that spot for nearly an hour before realizing something didn't add up. The boys eventually admitted that JR had turned back alone near an abandoned trailer, saying he was hungry and wanted to return to his grandfather's to eat. That detail didn't emerge until May 9th during formal interviews with Trooper C.J. Ellison, a psychologist, and a state police polygraph examiner. Both boys underwent polygraph and psychological tests, which confirmed the revised account. Wow. So what they said during this is right. What really happened, that he turned back at that trailer because he was hungry. Right. He was going back to eat. Okay, so wow, the deception. So let's think about this. These are young kids, okay?
Right.
So the boys were reportedly afraid of getting in trouble for letting JR go off alone. And if you have never had younger siblings or cousins, you were in charge of your younger siblings and cousins back in the day when you could just wander out into the woods.
Yeah.
And basically, you had outside to play with.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
Turn it loose.
Yes. So they were afraid of getting in trouble for letting JR go off alone, and they knew they weren't supposed to be playing near abandoned trailers. This meant the earliest search efforts were focused in the wrong area, costing precious time. Both boys passed their polygraph and play therapy tests, and investigators concluded they were not involved in foul play. Investigators noted the boys consistently said they lost track of JR after he turned back alone to get food. However, Nettie remained convinced they knew more. She was quoted as saying, "I think the children he was with know what happened. It's just not being told." The boys were only 8 and 9 years old at the time, and their families eventually stopped communicating with the Shoemakers. Despite suspicions, there was no physical evidence of foul play, and no charges were ever filed. The initial ground search for JR lasted 5 full days before it was officially called off on May 5th. In the evening due to exhaustion, dangerous terrain, and lack of results. One volunteer, Lisa K. Hannon, a member of the Appalachian Search and Rescue Team, was killed on May 3rd when her truck ran off the road and struck a tree. She had coordinated the search effort for 12 hours before heading home that morning. Her death occurred during an intense phase of the search, deeply affecting the rescue community and JR's family.
Wow.
Yeah. Nettie and Victor Sr. repeatedly urged authorities to consider abduction due to JR's familiarity with the terrain and lack of any physical evidence being found during the 5-day ground search or the 5-month extended search efforts by National Guard and Army Reserve units. So remember it in the beginning, it said that he was had a good sense of direction.
Yeah.
The FBI officially joined the investigation into JR's disappearance in late November 1994, nearly 7 months after he vanished on May 1st. Their involvement was triggered by the possibility that JR had been abducted and taken across state lines, which falls under federal kidnapping jurisdictions. In 1997, the FBI revealed that a dark-colored pickup truck, possibly a 1990 model, had been spotted near the only road in and out of the Short Mountain area, close to where JR was last seen. The FBI considered the sighting credible because of a sniffer dog anomaly during the initial search. The dog lifted its nose and led researchers across a field to the road, then stopped, suggesting JR may have been carried to a vehicle. Despite public requests from law enforcement, the driver of the vehicle never came forward. I mean, if
Of course.
you were the kidnapper, why would you?
You wouldn't.
No, not usually.
That was
No active leads remain. In 2004, the Charlie Project listed JR's case as unsolved and cold. In 2014, on the 20th anniversary of his disappearance, the case of Victor J.R. Dwight Shoemaker Jr. was formally acknowledged as a cold case by the FBI when Special Agent Greg Heeb stated, "At this time, all investigative leads have been exhausted." This is an active cold case. Any piece of information could make a difference. If you remember seeing something unusual or hearing anything related or know someone who might, please come forward. Even small details from that day or weeks before and after may help bring answers. And you can remain anonymous. The Shoemaker family still hope for truth, closure, and justice. And if you have information about that, you can contact the West Virginia State Police at 304-822-3561. We'll also have more information on how to contact the authorities about that in our show notes.
All right. So now we have our bizarre burials for this time. And this one's
bizarre burials.
pretty. This one's wild. This one is the turning of the bones. Yeah.
Okay.
I
remember reading it in the hints or something, but I didn't. I don't.
It's wild. So for this one, we're going to journey deep into the highlands of Madagascar, a place where death is not a silent farewell, but a grand reunion of flesh and memory. This is the turning of the bones. The roots of this ritual stretch back to the very first settlers of Madagascar. They carried animist beliefs that bind the living world to the realm of ancestors. Those ties are not severed by burial. Instead, every 5 to 7 years, families gently unearth their dead to remind them and themselves that death is but a passage, not an end. I wish that they could see your face right now. I may clip that.
Bambi.
I know. Yes, 5 to 7 years. Every 5 to 7 years.
Okay, wait a minute. How deep are the bones buried? Does every country do something different?
I think a lot of
6
them,
feet under country.
I think a lot of them are tombs.
Tombs. Okay, that makes sense.
Tombs, or at least some of them. So on the chosen day, relatives gather at the family tomb. The ground trembles with the thrum of traditional music. Children clutch tiny silk shrouds, freshly woven for this very moment. Elders stand ready with candles and wine. So let's break down what happens when the bones turn. Number 1, they are exhumed. Tombs are opened, corpses laid side by side, and they are gently lifted and set on mats of woven straw. And this is done in groups. This isn't just like one person at a time. These are like rows, all of the family, basically. So anyone in one family would be done at the same time.
So they're lifting these mats up, not...
Well, they lift them out of the tomb onto these mats.
But after a while, they're going to have to do this bone by bone.
Right. They come prepared with the silk shrouds. Still, like, that's going to be hard to get under them. Or maybe since they do it every 5 to 7 years, I mean, to be fair, they're still wrapped from the last time. So they would re-wrap them. This gets even crazier, just as baffling as this is already. The second step to that is cleaning and dressing them. Loved ones wash each skeleton with perfumed water and new silk shrouds are tied around the bones. The names are rewritten to ensure that no spirit is forgotten. They do rewrap them every time and clean them.
Okay.
Right.
So this isn't, it's not a mummification wrap. Like it's
No.
a mummification process.
They apparently
They're-
clean the bones themselves.
They clean it. Okay. Okay.
The third step is the dancing with the dead.
Dance macabre.
Right. That's where my head's
Okay.
going.
Okay.
With ancestors cradled on their shoulders, the living dance. The laughter and tears and drums unite past and present. This is both a celebration of life and an offering to guide the spirit onward. So they actually hold them up and dance around with them.
So, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I just went to mom's, like a baby.
Right.
That.
Yeah. But remember, they
Okay.
don't technically see death as an end. It's just...
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. The fourth step and final step is the feast and toast. The ceremony concludes with a communal feast. Meat and rice flow freely, and every clink of a cup echoes gratitude for both the departed and the living. For the Malagasy, family is the cornerstone of existence, and ancestors are ever watchful pillars of that family, offering counsel and protection. By turning the bones, descendants reinforce that bond, and believing each rewrapped ancestor renews their blessing on the living community. The turning of the bones teaches us something profound. In some corners of the world, death isn't a final chapter, it's an encore.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is the turning of the bones. It is. I mean, if you think about it in terms of they don't see someone as dying, as that's just...
Yeah.
And they stay connected with them for like ever. I can't imagine 5 to 7 years, like every single 5 to 7 years. That's absurd to me.
And does it happen on the same day every year?
Yes.
Okay. Did I miss that?
They have a set day. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's a set day for it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that's the turning of the bones.
I don't want to say I'm horrified because, that's their...
Well, I'm sure that things that we do probably baffle people like that as well. So
I'm sure.
So yeah.
But the way that your bizarre burials sometimes gives me no words. Like I have thoughts and I can't.
I've already got my next one picked out, and it's also just like, to me, it's absolutely magical. I love it, but a lot of people do not.
Really? See, now because you got me with the beads.
That's true. Yeah. No, that was magical also, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next one's going to be interesting. And our next episode is going to be our West Virginia versus Louisiana episode. So that's a little hint for you guys. That's going to be a fun one. I'm excited
it's
about it.
It's going to be crawdads versus pepperoni rolls, y'all. I don't know why we didn't call it that.
I haven't named it yet, so we'll see.
I bet you could make crawdads into pepperoni rolls.
They're not in season, though.
I'm sorry. What?
There's crawdads.
They're not in. There's, ma'am. Okay.
I mean, you can go buy them at restaurants and eat them, but there's seasons.
I thought, you know how you ever bought a tomato out of season?
I don't eat tomatoes, so I don't buy them anyway.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but this is a crawdad.
Like, what I don't understand, like, they don't just, like, grow out in a field. When you...
They do. They do, technically, though. Now I'm going to have to send you videos.
You're going to have to.
Maybe I'll have to go over a very brief history of how those work.
I just thought about going and getting fruits and veggies out of season. They taste awful. Or like hydroponic tomatoes. Nobody wants those, y'all.
Right.
In the dirt.
Yeah.
This is why we're all sick all the time. Eat some daggone dirt.
Eat some, yeah. Just go pick something off a tree and eat it. Like right
build up your immune system.
Yeah. That's why everybody.
That's not what's wrong with Gen
I'm
X. That's what's
sicker.
right with us.
Right. I'm sicker than a lot of people my age because I didn't like the outside and my mom had to kick me out of the house. And I would generally just sit on the porch because I didn't know what else to do. But
none of us were allowed in the house.
Get filthy. I know it didn't matter if I had problems with my mental health.
We weren't allowed.
I was sitting on the porch if I was doing anything. So I did still get out there and get dirty. And then when I did venture off, I literally spent all of my time going up lease roads and playing in the woods around them, which is really not good. But they were my adventures. We were, God, we were wild, but whatever.
We were.
That's why we are.
We really were feral. But the difference is we were respectful.
Oh, yeah, there's a big difference in that.
Now,
I feel like that's just lost.
We got some kids just feral. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's not a mix anymore. It's just you're one or the other.
Yeah.
You were either raised and it's not even being raised respectfully, because let's be real, any of our generation is raising kids respectfully, but it's that in between where they decide which angle they're going to play, whether they're going to play the respectful but yet still feral attitude-y, going my own way but still being not a little shit.
I think they don't understand that there's a time and a place.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it.
People, you gotta know your audience. You can't just be out there.
I think that might be
doing what you do.
Yeah. That was something that I was watching a video the other day, and they were talking about people not knowing how to dress anymore. It's not that they don't know how to dress. It's just they don't know how to dress for the occasion. Like, people wearing booty shorts to a funeral. And then being confused as to why everyone's staring at them. And it's like...
And I understand body positivity, but I come from a place of there is a time and there is a place.
Right. Yeah.
Perhaps your funeral is, or that someone, your loved one's funeral isn't one.
Right. Or like wearing pajamas everywhere, which, let's be real, we're all wearing jammies as much as humanly possible, but...
I have a cousin who will put on pajamas to go to the Walmart.
Oh, sure.
Like, do you want to go to Walmart?
I live in pajamas when I go to the dollar store. But like...
I mean...
It's a mile down the road. I'm not putting on pants for that. That's just dumb.
No.
But like wearing jammies to an interview. I've seen a lot of that too. Or
what?
Crop tops and shorts to an interview in an office. That's what sparked that whole conversation. And I was appalled. I was watching it and I was like, what are you wearing? Why are you... No. Like, you're cute. You look great. But not for an interview.
No.
It's not.
That's... Wow. That's not okay.
And then people being very upset because they didn't get the job. And they're like, I don't understand. And I'm like, do you not? Do
they not do that thing in school where you do a mock interview and you have to dress and... Wow.
Unfortunately. I mean, but I know not.
That's crazy.
Not to dress like that. So.
Well, there's a lot of things I think that don't get taught at school.
Yeah. It's starting to get a little better, I feel like.
Which is good.
Thank God. Because, our kids went through it. They started out with the good, and then it just kind of took a hard direction. And so they've had both worlds. So I feel bad for them.
Yes.
It's a lot.
What a time to be alive.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think that's all we've got today, guys. Unless you have anything else to add.
I do not.
No. But we'll get ready for the next episode. That's gonna be a fun one. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining us around the fire tonight. If you've got any of your own macabre musings or tales or questions or lore that you're just dying to hear or let us know about, find us on Facebook and drop a line at Macabre.Musings.Podcast@gmail.com.
Pull up a chair next time as we dive into more dark, creepy lore and maybe tumble down a rabbit hole or two. Until then, keep your lanterns low and your curiosities high.
See y'all later.